to tell you guys a real story. Hear me out. I'm going to tell you a real story. And no, I'm not mentioning anybody's names. I'm not saying anybody, like, because it's not just one. There's not just one person that has been exposed on this internet space or one YouTube. It's been in 3 years. I probably have seen about 100 people get exposed. 100. You know, and when I say exposed, it's literally what they be getting exposed. Like there's, you know, they be getting exposed. You know, so anyway, back my whole point is, family, if any of you guys are starting a channel or doing a platform, be you. It is too expensive to be somebody else. Be you and be unapologetically you. And if people don't like it, tough. If they want to say this, that, and the third, oh well, it's you. At least you can live and die by the fact that it's you. Okay. To my point. Story time. So y'all, there was a time in my life where I was asking God for signs, right? Or I thought I was asking God for signs, right? And this is very important for people that they're looking for somebody that God is bringing to them. And they're dating somebody like, God, is this the person? Please send me a sign. Let the red bird meet the blue bird in the big tree in the back. Okay? Let the red bird meet the blue bird in a tree in the back, right? And so I was in a space of my life where I was asking God for signs. Literally praying for, show me this sign, show me that sign, like things like that, okay? Those signs happened. Every sign I asked for happened. But it still was not a God sent. This is not to scare you. This is to tell you the truth. There is this is an indication, y'all, for every woman, for every man that's listening to me right now. When it is a sign from God, the one thing you have to be aware of, the one thing you have to know, there's a very real enemy that's just as invested in your future. There's a very real enemy that can also create signs, and he can create wonders. He absolutely can. You can ask him, hey, God, you know, I really would like for this person to say this. And if they tell me this, and I know it's from you. Hey, God, if you tell them to walk on one foot, hop 3 times, and then open the door, I know it's from you. The one indicator that you must know the difference between a sign from God and a sign from an enemy, a counterfeit sign. Understand that the enemy is a counterfeit all the way through. What do you mean by that, Sam? Everything he's done is a counterfeit. Think about it. From the very beginning, he wanted to be God. He couldn't be. God cast him out. So what did he do? He became a counterfeit God, the God of this world. Not the God of the universe or the God that created the universe, but the God of this world. There's always a counterfeit. Always a counterfeit. When you look at the Bible, there's counterfeits. It's always a counterfeit, okay? He always will do something to mimic God. It's never really God, but it's a way to mimic. It's a way to deceive. Why? Because he's the father of lies. He is the great deceiver. One thing you must know, the hallmark, the calling card, the number one way, the one thing I did not experience, though I had all the signs in the world, the one thing that I did not experience, though I had all the signs in the world, I was asking God, this, that, and the third. The one thing, and there's another thing, but that's the second thing, but the number one thing is peace. That is God's calling card. That is God's calling card. When God does a sign and you have peace about it, not you're still uneasy, not you're still like all over the place. I'm talking about a God peace. Y'all know what a God peace is. It's when your mind is not battling and you're at peace. And when you seek God, you have peace about it. When you don't have that peace, and even though you're seeking God about it, you still don't have peace, you know it's not from God. The enemy cannot recreate peace. That's one thing he cannot do. He's limited in that ability. If you can say right now, let's say you're in a situation right now, and you can say, God, I want to know if this is the person, blah, 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 blah. Let them wear red shoes today. They're wearing red shoes. If you're still battling, I don't know. I don't, something about, it's not even the I don't know, because the enemy comes in to steal, kill, and destroy. So he will insert doubt. But it's like that uneasiness. And I'm saying uneasiness because it's not uneasiness and trauma speak very similar language. So you have to be aware of your trauma. Is this my trauma speaking, or is this my spirit telling me this isn't right? Because that's why it's important for us to really heal on this journey, right? But with that being said, if there's an uneasiness, if there's like there's just something in your spirit that just isn't at peace with this. No matter how many times you pray to God, no matter how many signs you get, there is just a lack of peace. It's a sign that the signs are not from God. They're from your enemy, who's equally invested in you being with someone you're not supposed to be with. Why? Because he wants you to settle. He wants you to settle in wildernesses when there's a promised land with your name on it. That's what the enemy wants you to do. So yes, he'll put you in an area where you're comfortable. Because a lot of us, when we're settling with counterfeits, we're actually settling for being comfortable. You also got to know peace is God's calling card, but being uncomfortable is also God's calling card. When it's just too easy, like too easy, we could just roll up in here. And I'm not saying that overall, when God decides to do something, there's times where it is easy. There's time, and when I say easy, I say rapid acceleration. But there's always a process to promise. Always. Always a process. Always a process to promise. Always, 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 always. What does that mean? There's going to be a season where God prepares you for promise. And when you get to the promise, it's rapid acceleration. Let's go back. Joseph in the Bible, what happens to him? He gets thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, thrown into prison. One night, he decides to interpret dreams. Those dreams come to pass. He stays in the jail for another year, I believe. What happens next? The Pharaoh has a dream, and the baker remembers that Joseph could interpret dreams and interpret dreams accurately. One night. Changed his whole direction. One night. So he was preparing for years for a moment that just happened. All of a sudden happened. That is the hallmark of God. He will never put you in the seat of a car that he hasn't taught you how to drive. That's not the mark of a good father, and that's not the mark of an intentional creator. What God will always do is teach you how to drive a car before he puts you in it. Because what the enemy does is this. The enemy will do rapid promotions. The enemy likes to promote people very quickly without process. Why? Because they sabotage. If I promote you without process, yeah, the marriage is going to end. It is. It's going to end. And it's going to make you not want to get married again. And it wasn't because that you just decided to marry a counterfeit and not the real thing. And we try to bypass process because we want something so bad. And we want it now. We're instant gratification. We are instant gratification type of generation. And God's process is delayed gratification. So the enemy has tricked us into thinking that if it's fast and it's easy, it must be God. No, the opposite's true. If it's comfortable, it must be God. No, that's not true. God's hallmark has never and never will be comfort. Never has been. God's way always takes risk. That is God's way. It will never be easy. It will never be convenient, but you will have peace about it. That is God's way. And a lot of us, because it's easy, because it's comfortable, because it's right before our eyes, we waiting on this hypothetical, on this man that you feel like God has put on your heart and he's promised you, but you don't see him at all. And then there's this guy at church that's speaking the church language and the church lingo, and he's close enough. I mean, he might be 1 or 2 points off of all my needs, but he's close enough and he's ready to get married now. I'ma just marry him. Yeah, she doesn't really have no faith, no background, no nothing like that. I mean, I have seen that she's not really, where I need her to be in other areas, but she's here, she's comfortable, and because I've been left before, I know she ain't gonna leave. So I'ma settle right here because this is safe, not because this is my preference, because this is safe and I'm comfortable. I have no peace about it, but I'm safe and I'm comfortable. So I've allowed pain to be my decision-making authority versus God. Again, it's much easier to settle with a counterfeit. The enemy's going to make it easy for you. All right? So, God's process always comes with peace. Why is that? God, that's a gift of the Spirit. That is a gift from the Spirit. Testing the Spirit by the Spirit. God tests the Spirit by the Spirit. That's Bible. What's the fruits of the Spirit? Love, joy, peace, patience, goodness, kindness, faithfulness, and self-control. If this is how somebody is conducting their life, you test the Spirit by the Spirit. Some of us are believing people and putting our weight into people that do not have the fruits of the Spirit. And y'all, like I said, please do not just blindly believe. We live in a generation that does no research. Do research. Do research. Do research. Search the scriptures for yourself. That's the best way to know what is what. But anyway, it will lack peace. So even if there's signs, even if you have these signs and there may be wonders, if you lack peace about it, and y'all know what that feels like when you have an uneasy feeling. And there's a difference between your doubting and uneasiness, right? When you're doubting, you can go to God and God gives you peace. That's a fruit of the Spirit. So when you're doubting, there's a sense of peace. When you're praying to God and you still don't have peace about it, in the presence of God, you know it don't come from God. All right? And you pray the dangerous prayer. People don't like this prayer, but it's true. God, remove anything in my life that does not belong to you. Remove anything. Remove anything in my life that does not belong. If it's not you, God, I don't want it. Why do we want what God wants? Because God gives good gifts to his children. It says in the Bible that if we, that are begotten from evil, give good gifts to our children, then how much more would our Heavenly Father, our perfect Father, give us good gifts? It then says, if his child wants a toy, would he then give them a snake? No. He's a good father. And he gives good gifts to his children, but we believe that the gifts that we get for ourselves are better than what he gives us. And it's not true. It's not true. It's a lie. Hey guys, thank you for watching this video. I appreciate you guys. Go ahead, hit the subscribe button, y'all. Let's not just be every once in a while. Let's become family, okay? Friends that are family, okay? Join my family today.